One of the questions I really like asking when I'm talking to people who are obviously performing at at that level, right at your level, and this may have evolved over the course of your high school to college to pre-Olympics to post-Olympics, and now as a someone who's trying to go to a second Olympics. But I'm always curious to hear about the bad days, the bad, and just within a training specific context of okay, like the days that maybe aren't going the way that you obviously intended, or even there's the days and then there's the cycle of days where it feels like there's that snowball effect of man, this bad day is now extended into a week or a month or whatever it may be. And I'm always curious to hear from people like yourself who can kind of put that into context where obviously I think everyone, no matter what level you're training on, and within any sport or any profession has those days. I'm curious to hear from someone like yourself, like if there's anything that if those, obviously not getting into the specifics or details because everyone has, those different ebbs and flows of their training. But when you do things like that, or when you do have a piece that's maybe not, or a good representation of what you fully can do, and it starts to weigh on you and it puts this weight on your shoulders, how do you handle that? And how do you handle it if it extends beyond just that one particular session?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think too, it's really important to like separate the context of like high school and collegiate rowing from the elite rowing in this perspective. Because I think, high school rowing, collegiate rowing, or kind of like when you're in your first kind of like training cycles, it's really easy to always hit a PR. Like, for a lot of like younger rowers, like wherever you starting out your rowing career, like you might be used to like PRing every time you do a 2K test or every time you do like whatever given erg test it is. And there hits a point where you kind of stop PRing, and then it's like you're figuring out like where your limit is and like where your limit is based on training. Um, and so I think for us, it's like always kind of a context of like where are we in the given like point of the year, and like understanding like, I'm not meant to like, you know, I PR like, where you're PRing and where you are in the time of the year. It's like always kind of in context of that and like where you are in the training block. Um, but yeah, that's such a great question. And I think it's also really important, you know, um, so like if I, for example, I had a bad day a couple of days ago where, my legs were just super heavy, and we were doing this workout where it's 4 minutes at a 16, at a rate 16, going as hard as you can. And like my legs just weren't there. Like I was going as hard as I could. My heart rate was in the zone, but I just wasn't hitting the same splits as I was the week before. And, for that workout, it was like, it doesn't matter that I'm not going as fast as I can. I just need to keep going as hard as I can in this moment, and I will get like the aerobic and anaerobic benefit for like the next time I do it, and I'll build more strength even if I'm not like exactly doing the same splits. But in terms of like a longer, because there's also the famous like 30-30-30 rule where it's like 30% of the time you're going to have a good time, 30% of the time you're going to have an okay time, and 30% of the time it is not going to be a great time. So on those bad days, it's really just a matter of like staying focused, like doing the best you can do given whatever the circumstances. Like maybe you didn't sleep well, maybe you weren't able to eat enough food, and it's like, okay, like I understand I have these like limitations. Like, can I still get something really good out of training today? Um, and I think too, like when you're looking at having like a longer period of like having like a not so great time, it's, there are about 40 factors that go into training, everything from like sleep, eating, nutrition, um, hydration, mental health. Mental health is so huge. Um, like there's 40 factors, and obviously I won't list every 40. So it's also a matter of like, having conversations with yourself, with your coaches, and kind of figuring out like which of those like 40 different factors like maybe could be like adjusted to better support your training. And sometimes it's just a matter of like, okay, I'm slow right now and I got to just keep doing the training, like what I'm doing is okay, like I just got to keep going. Or it's a matter of like, okay, like let's adjust a couple of these things and like see if that improves. So I think it's always important to have conversations and like making sure you're eating enough, sleeping enough. Like those are the very basic things to always drinking enough water, you know. Um, yeah, I definitely didn't sleep enough in college, as a quick anecdote. And it was really funny. I got a lot faster like the first 6 months out of college. And I was like, this is good. Sleeping is good. So I will say that for all of like the high school and collegiate rowers is if you're having a bad training block, sleep is good.